Bonjour YouTube, je lance cette VOD dès maintenant parce que ce jeu étant spécial, je me dis que peut-être il y a du contenu alors qu'on est dans les réglages. C'est grave possible. On est sur The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, je sais pas quoi. C'est un jeu qui était sorti il y a très longtemps, hein, et là il y a la version Ultra Deluxe qui est sortie récemment. Un jeu que je n'ai jamais fait. J'ai dû y jouer 20 minutes, une demi-heure. Euh, je voulais le faire en let's play il y a longtemps, mais j'avais du mal avec le narrateur qui parlait anglais. Ça me sortait un petit peu du délire. Fallait beaucoup lire les sous-titres alors qu'il fallait jouer en même temps. Enfin, je sais pas. Il y avait un truc qui me sortait du délire. C'est toujours le cas, hein, le narrateur parle toujours en anglais. Mais bon, on va s'en sortir. Un jeu un petit peu méta. Vous jouez un employé de bureau qui se retrouve tout seul dans son étage. Là, c'est un peu bizarre. Et il y a un narrateur qui décrit ce qu'il est en train de faire. Donc vous allez suivre ce que le narrateur vous dit. Mais en fait, vous allez vous rendre compte que vous pouvez ne pas le suivre. Et ça va changer l'histoire. Et ça va vous faire aller dans des trucs bizarres. Et vous finissez, je sais plus, enfin, il y a plein de fins différentes. C'est très bizarre. Voilà. Donc évidemment, d'ailleurs, j'ai pas changé le titre du stream. Je vais dire de ne pas spoiler. Vraiment, là, faut rien m'indiquer, hein. Je vais mettre découverte. Faut surtout pas me spoiler, suggérer des trucs, tant que je ne le demande pas, bien sûr. Je mets tout là. No spoil, aide, suggestion, backseat. Voilà. Tout est là, hein. Je connais le principe du jeu, mais je sais qu'il y a plein d'embranchements de partout. Et voilà. Le jeu est très clair. Ouais, mais je veux dire, je sais que je sais qu'il y a des chemins bizarres et qui sont pas forcément logiques. Tu vois, quand il joue, donc quelqu'un qui connaît va me dire, si t'étais passé par ici, tu serais passé par là. Enfin, tu vois, et ça, faut pas me le dire. Bref, il est 13h28 maintenant parce qu'on est lent. On est AM ou PM? Putain. Voilà. Attendez. Avant de commencer, est-ce que je peux dire quelque chose? Pourquoi il parle pas? C'est normal qu'il n'y ait pas de son. Merci d'avoir vraiment réglé l'heure les 2 fois où vous avez lancé le jeu. Ah, tu vois? Tu vois, il est déjà un peu chelou le jeu. Tant de gens ne prennent pas cette étape au sérieux et laissent l'heure régler sur midi et basta. Mais vous avez pris le temps d'indiquer l'heure. Je vous en suis reconnaissant. Je sais ainsi que vous vous souciez de votre expérience, votre attention est focalisée sur le jeu. D'ailleurs, je n'ai aucun moyen de vérifier si l'heure que vous avez entrée est correcte. Je vais vous dire, on va passer un marché. Puisque ça coupe pas trop la cam là sur les dialogues là. Après les sous-titres sont en bas. Puisque vous faites preuve de tellement de bonne volonté, la prochaine fois que vous lancerez le jeu et verrez cet écran, vous n'aurez qu'à saisir votre heure préférée. Allez-y, choisissez l'heure que vous voulez. Même si ce n'est pas la bonne heure, vous l'avez bien mérité. Sur ce, je vous laisse accéder au jeu. D'accord. D'accord. J'ai l'impression que le son n'est pas très fort sur le jeu, hein. Je l'avais lancé pour faire des réglages vidéo, mais j'avais pas fait la scène. En fait, c'est pas très fort parce qu'il n'y a pas de musique. En fait, on peut tout laisser à fond, non?
This is the story of a man.
On y va? On peut appuyer sur les trucs là? On peut pas. The end is never the end. C'est parti là. Cliquez pour
This is the
passer.
story
Ah
of a
non,
man
on
named
passe pas. Nous.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Bon bah on est happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar.
Ça va le son?
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Et là, je peux bouger, voilà. Ah, ça y est, ça commence. Paramètres, commande, bien sûr. Oh! Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? Gauche. Q. Les bruits me trigger. C'est fluide pour vous ou pas? C'est important, hein. Parce que j'ai pas regardé. Attends, je vais checker un truc. Synchro vertical. Ouais, anti-aliasing, on en met pas beaucoup. C'est chiant, l'anti-aliasing. Ça me fait toujours bugger. Parce que sinon, je me mets en 1080. Hein. Bon, vous n'hésitez pas à me dire que si c'est pas trop fluide. Hein.
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bon là, je vais suivre le narrateur tout bêtement parce que oh là. Je sais qu'on peut ne pas le suivre, mais on va le suivre.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alors, comment régler une dispute avec un coworker? Let it ball up. Oh, bah, oh, d'accord. Est-ce qu'on peut ramasser des objets? Oh! J'ai eu un succès, vous ne pouvez pas sauter. Et j'ai eu un succès, obtenir votre premier succès. Bon, ça fait des bruits de clavier, mais je peux rien faire. Ah bah si, j'ai ouvert.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Je m'attendais pas à faire ça, mais ok.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Le broom closet. Ouh. Money. In the morning, money. In the evening, money for breakfast. For money.
Nous voulons de l'argent. De l'argent.
Extrême basso. Les bruits me... ça m'amuse. Évidemment, il y a son père.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
Oui, mais il l'a dit.
to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ok. C'est le narrateur qui backseat, ouais. Très très sombre. J'aimerais vérifier un autre truc. Marche à une main. Moi j'aime bien mettre les sous-titres en gros. Apparemment je ne peux pas. Ah peut-être là. Ah, langue française, sous-titres, opacité. Ah, taille. Ah. Ah.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ouah. Ah d'accord, tu peux plus remonter j'imagine. Ah si, je peux remonter. Cancel.
Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Bah merde. J'espère que je peux redescendre, je voulais faire le chemin basique moi. Bon. Oh merde, je peux pas redescendre, j'ai déjà niqué la première partie. Merde.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Bah oui, mais c'est fermé. Je clique partout. Puis rallumer la lumière, bon Dieu. On suivra le chemin logique la prochaine fois. Si je retourne à l'ascenseur là. Ah!
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Il se fout de ma gueule. On va bien se calmer, le narrateur. On va bien se calmer. Bon, regardez, on est...
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
C'est les indestructibles.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Il y en a un qui est cassé là-haut. Oh! Il y en a un qui est viré. Il s'est fait fired.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ouais. On descend encore plus loin. Ah non, on remonte.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Attends, mais on peut rien faire là parce que... Il y a des numéros. Ah, regarde. Oh. Quel drama queen le narrateur. Ah mais c'est fermé là. Et le 4, je parie qu'il est là-haut. C'est de là que je viens, non? Ouais, mais si c'est... Je peux pas y aller. Pas de suggestion, hein, s'il vous plaît. Tant que je ne le demande pas, en tout cas. Oh! Bon, bah écoutez, pour le moment, je ne sais pas. On va aller dans la pièce suivante. Il y a sûrement un truc à faire ici. And
when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Donc...
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh. C'était la fin de base quand on suit tout. Terminer le jeu, c'est bon, on a fini le jeu. Mais the end is never the end. Tiens, tiens, tiens. Tiens, tiens, tiens.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Tiens, tiens,
Stanley
tiens.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
On va prendre la porte de droite cette fois. On n'a pas eu le mémo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
À moins que... Ah, je peux pas faire demi-tour. Et là, je prends la porte de droite.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Maintenant, il va moins faire le malin, le narrateur. Let me in!
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Je suis en train de me faire insulter, mais c'est pas grave. Do not lie. If you are lying, right now, stop. Do not jump from the cargo. Je crois que je peux jump. Oh, je peux jump!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oups. J'aurais pu m'en douter, j'aurais dû m'en douter.
His co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Memo. Attendez, on retourne vite fait. Oh là.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
C'est bon, j'y retourne et je ne saute pas.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
De qui tu parles là? De ma mère?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Attends, de qui tu causes là? J'ai pas le choix là. Je ne voulais pas t'écouter. Il me fait de la peine le narrateur. Non, Faustine, t'as pas raté grand chose. Bonjour Chrisou. Il parle de Xion. Ouvrez! Oh! Ça marche. Ça me fait rire quand ça fonctionne. J'ai trop envie de faire demi-tour. Bon, arrête.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Allô? Allô?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Oh merde.
Sorry.
Wow!
You're in my
Ça m'a fait-
story now.
Ça fait peur. Ça aussi, ça fait peur là.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Bonjour, employé 427, appuyez sur J sur votre clavier. Je le fais? Je veux pas! On appuie sur une mauvaise lettre peut-être, ouais. O P M K. Entrée. Espace. L. J.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
J'ai appuyé sur N. Mais j'ai appuyé sur ton cul, ouais.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Appuyez sur R. Ok, j'appuie sur R.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him.
Ah mais c'est mon bureau.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
J'appuie pas. Non, j'appuie parce qu'il m'a dit de le faire. Donc j'appuie pas.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Je me remets pas en question.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Quoi?
And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Veuillez mourir. Oh là 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 là. cordialement. Et si on reste dans la pièce, il y a sûrement un truc.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bon, vous avez compris le principe du jeu, du coup, hein, c'est un peu chelou. Est-ce qu'on aime ou est-ce qu'on n'aime pas le narrateur? Est-ce
Stanley
que...
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ok, vas-y, je vais aller à gauche.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Il y a trop de chemin partout.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Froissement de papier.
Let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ah!
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley,
Spoil.
close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Faites demi-tour dès que possible.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
J'ai envie d'y retourner exactement de la même manière.
When Stanley... Wait.
Quoi?
What? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Je parle pas parce que c'est un peu mindfuck, hein, tout ça. Donc... Où est l'histoire? Écris l'histoire.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ah, peu rap ce mémo, hein.
The meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah, j'ai mis le mémo, c'est sûr, c'est sûr. Le mémo, c'est ne bois pas ça, il y a de l'acide, il y a des acides.
It's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Quoi? Attends, qu'est-ce qu'il a dit? J'ai pas lu. Ah. Oh. Mais il est où le mémo?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Good job.
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Oh là là. Ah.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How
La ligne.
is that?
Ok. Suivons la ligne. Ah, mais c'était pas par là la première fois.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oh putain! C'est ça. Au secours. Au secours. Libérez-nous. Ah.
Cut the music.
Ah.
Go back and look at that fern.
Quoi?
Stanley, This fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Qu'est-ce qu'il dit? C'est quoi cette sainte fougère là? Vous voulez compter le nombre de tiges? Ouais, c'est une belle fougère ça. Chaque viewer retient un détail. Souviens-toi de ça pour plus tard. Hein. Ouais, on dirait vraiment un backseat, genre... tu devrais regarder la fougère. On s'en fout, on filme. Donc on l'a là. Prenez un screen. Elle est verte. Ouais.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Trahi par la ligne. Du coup, faut la suivre ou faut pas la suivre?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ouh, totally new. Et cette fougère-là, qu'est-ce que t'en penses? Le bureau taille-crayon.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
C'est vrai qu'il y a une ambiance backroom, hein, si vous connaissez ce délire sur YouTube. Là.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
La fin troublante. S'éloigner. Ah, regardez, on voit tous les trucs. J'ose pas m'approcher. Finir dans la salle des écrans. Le narrateur relance le jeu. Premier redémarrage. Deuxième redémarrage. S'ennuyer et partir. Le narrateur relance le jeu. Il n'y a plus de bureau.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting.
Faut
I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want
On est en plein milieu là.
I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Ah Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Oh mon Dieu. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Ah, vous saviez, vous? C'est la chaise? Je sais pas si c'est la chaise ou si, ou si c'était juste comme ça, que ça allait s'arrêter en plein milieu d'une phrase. Putain.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Coucou maraudeur. Bon, je sais pas, j'ai trouvé ça bizarre, mais... Oh, il y a la ligne. Merci pour ces clips, merci beaucoup. Génial.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room,
Putain, je sais pas dans quelle boucle on est là.
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Mais il n'y a pas de mémo. Où est le mémo? Josiane! Je n'ai pas eu le mémo.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Bah, c'est la broom. Il est bien le placard, ouais. Moi, je reste là. Il a dit de trouver un endroit où on était safe. Placard. Placard. Ah, je te laisse. Il y a la fausse blonde qui me court sur le haricot. Placard. Tu devrais t'y sentir comme chez toi. C'est un placard à balai. On va tous crever. Ça ne t'ennuie pas que j'utilise une plume à papote? C'est difficile de lurker pendant ce stream. Hein. Enfin, de faire autre chose en parallèle. Hein.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Je vais grimper.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Ah bah.
Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Ça s'ouvre tout seul, il n'y a même pas besoin. Il y avait une sortie à un endroit.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind control facility.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oui. Oui, mind control,
The
the
door behind
main,
him
the
was not
town.
shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ah, le four crématoire.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
La narratrice du narrateur.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh, c'est le manoir Oblivion, ça je reconnais.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Ce monde a été connecté, relié aux ténèbres. Le couloir. Le rythme lors de cette section d'ouverture devait être irréprochable. Ce couloir a été déplacé et modifié afin que le joueur soit sûr d'atteindre les deux portes au bon moment. Armoire de rangement. Désolé, ça me fait rire. Désolé. Parti communiste. Parti communiste. Tableau de paysage. Ordinateur de Stanley. Le plan du bureau. Ce plan vous montre le bureau au début de la partie, le chemin entre le bureau de Stanley et les deux portes, et le tout premier chemin conçu dans le jeu. Des sections ont été ajoutées et modifiées au cours du développement, mais l'organisation générale est restée presque inchangée depuis la première itération. Son de bouton. Sélection de sons entendus dans le jeu à chaque utilisation d'un bouton. Chaque son est un mélange de frappes de clavier, de tonalités de synthétiseur. Bureau du chef. Capture d'écran du bureau du chef au cours du développement. Et la fougère alors, bah ouais. Salle de pause. Sous-sol.
Possible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you. Oh, for crying.
D'accord, d'accord.
The big red button.
Fin de la liberté. Voici la toute première version de la fin de la liberté pour l'alpha du jeu. Bureau du compte à rebours. L'un des bureaux dans une version antérieure de la fin du compte à rebours. Ouais. Comment ça s'allume? Ah. Je sais pas quoi faire. La maquette, game design. Le bureau. Le bureau. Bureau de Stanley. De gauche à droite, l'évolution du bureau. Le bureau. Minuteur de l'appartement. Moi, j'ai pas eu ça, moi. Dans l'une des fins du première version, minuteur de 15 secondes. Bon. Écoutez, on va bien trouver, hein. On va trouver quelque chose. Je pense que la salle où il y avait écrit en noir... Are you a rock? Email du narrateur. Après la deuxième bande-annonce que nous avons publiée, nous avons demandé aux gens d'envoyer des questions par email au narrateur. Nous comptions nous en servir pour promouvoir encore le jeu, mais nous n'avons jamais trouvé vraiment comment les exploiter. Voici une sélection de ces emails. On va aller dans la salle noire. Il n'y a pas l'audio guide, hein.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But
Quoi?
listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's.
C'est la fin de cette VOD. Au revoir YouTube.